Henry stood frozen in Natalie's apartment doorway, his hand still gripping the handle, staring at complete emptiness. The couch where he'd watched football last night gone. The dining table where they'd eaten breakfast vanished. Even the curtains had been stripped from the windows. His phone buzzed in his pocket. A bank alert. His heart sank as he read. Account balance. 847 Nigerian Nairas. 847 Naira. Yesterday there had been over 200,000. Another buzz. A notification from Facebook. Then Instagram. Then WhatsApp. His phone began ringing. His mother's number flashing on the screen. Before he could answer, a text arrived from his younger brother. What have you done? Everyone's seen the video. What video? His hands trembled as he opened Facebook. There, at the top of his feed, was his wife Tina's face. Calm. Composed. Beautiful. The video had been posted 2 hours ago, and already had 15,000 shares. Good morning, everyone. Tina's voice came through his speaker, clear and unwavering. My name is Tina Okonkwo, and I need to tell you the truth about my husband, Henry Okonkwo. Henry's knees buckled. Behind him, Natalie appeared in the doorway, her face pale as she stared at her own phone. Henry, she whispered, her voice breaking. What has she done? Everything. Tina had systematically destroyed everything. And this was only the beginning. Before we continue, let me ask you something quietly. Where are you listening from right now? And what time is it in your part of the world? Some of us are hearing this story under the hot afternoon sun. Some in the calm of the night, when thoughts are heavy and hearts are open. Different places, one story, one lesson. If stories like this speak to your heart, please subscribe to the channel. Your like helps this story reach another soul. Your comment tells me you understand the lesson. And when you share, you may be saving someone from the same mistake. Now let us continue. 2 weeks earlier, the Okonkwo household was anything but peaceful. Tina stood in the kitchen of their modest 3-bedroom flat in Lagos, staring at the bank statement in her hand. Her fingers trembled with rage, tears threatening to spill from her eyes. Their daughter's school fees, Nigerian Naira 180,000 Naira, had been withdrawn 3 days ago. Not for the school. For another one of Henry's investments. Henry, she called out, her voice tight with barely controlled anger. Her husband emerged from the bedroom, adjusting his watch with the casual air of a man who had done nothing wrong. At 34, Henry was still handsome. The same charming smile that had won her over 9 years ago. The same confident stride that had made her believe he would always protect their family. What is it, Tina? I'm running late for work. She thrust the statement toward him. Where is Zara's school fees? Henry barely glanced at the paper. I told you there's a business opportunity. My friend Charles needs partners for a logistics deal. We'll triple that money in 2 months. Triple. Tina's voice rose. Like the poultry investment last year that left us with nothing? Like the importation business that never happened? Our daughter's school sent another warning letter, Henry. They're threatening to send her home. You're always so negative. Henry snapped, snatching his car keys from the counter. This is why I can't talk to you about anything. You don't believe in me. You don't support my vision. Your vision. Tina felt something crack inside her chest. My vision is our children eating 3 meals a day. My vision is keeping a roof over our heads. Where's your vision when the landlord comes for rent? Henry's face hardened. Maybe if you weren't so suffocating, I could breathe in this house. Maybe if you showed me some respect instead of nagging every single day. Respect. Tina's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. You want respect? Earn it. Provide for your children. Stop gambling with their future. The word gambling hung in the air between them like poison. They both knew it was true. Henry's investments were just dressed-up betting. Sports, cards, online casinos disguised as trading platforms. I'm done with this conversation, Henry said, heading for the door. I'm going out. Where are you going? Anywhere but here. The door slammed. Tina stood in the empty kitchen, listening to their 4-year-old son Daniel crying in the bedroom, awakened by their shouting. Zara, 7 years old, appeared in the hallway, her school uniform rumpled from sleep. Mommy, is Daddy leaving again? Tina wiped her eyes quickly, forcing a smile. No, baby. He's just going to work. Go get dressed for school. But Henry didn't come home that night. Or the next. His phone went straight to voicemail. Tina told herself he was just being childish, staying with a friend to punish her for speaking the truth. On the third day, her older sister Helen visited, bringing groceries and concern etched on her face. Any word from him? Helen asked, unpacking rice and beans onto the kitchen counter. Tina shook her head, focusing on washing dishes to hide her tears. You need to pray, Tina. Be patient. Men sometimes need space too. Helen, please. Tina's hand stilled in the soapy water. Don't tell me to be patient. Don't tell me to pray harder. I've been patient for years while he gambled away our money. I've prayed while he lied about where he was spending his nights. Helen's eyes widened. You think he's... I don't know what to think anymore. But on the fourth day, Tina learned the truth. Her friend Judith called, her voice apologetic but urgent. Tina, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but I saw Henry yesterday. At the mall. With a woman. Tina's heart hammered. What woman? Young. Maybe 25. They were holding hands, laughing. He was buying her things, perfume, shoes. Tina, he looked comfortable. Like they've been together a while. After the call ended, Tina sat motionless on the couch, staring at nothing. Her phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. A screenshot. Henry and a light-skinned woman with long braids, standing on an apartment balcony. The message read, Thought you should know. He's been staying at Crystal Gardens Apartments, Block C. Something cold settled in Tina's chest. Not the sharp pain of betrayal, that would come later. This was different. This was clarity. She opened her laptop and created a new folder. She titled it, Evidence. Then she began taking screenshots of everything: bank statements, text messages, Henry's location history that she'd long ago gained access to. Every lie, every missing fund, every suspicious late night. Her tears dried. Her hand steadied. Helen, watching from the kitchen doorway, whispered, Tina, what are you doing? Tina didn't look up from the screen. What I should have done a long time ago. I'm protecting my children. How? For the first time in days, Tina smiled. But it wasn't a happy smile. You'll see. 1 week before everything exploded, Tina's humiliation became public. Natalie, that was the woman's name, Tina learned, had made no effort to hide the affair. Her Instagram profile was public, filled with photos captioned with hearts and inside jokes. In one recent post, Henry's watch was visible on her wrist. In another, they were at a restaurant Tina recognized, the same one Henry had claimed was too expensive when she'd suggested it for their anniversary. The caption read, Dinner with my King Crown Red Heart. Tina stared at the photo for a long time, memorizing every detail. Then she took a screenshot and added it to her folder. The phone calls from relatives started that afternoon. Tina, dear, I saw something online. Her aunt whispered. Is everything all right with you and Henry? Tina, people are talking, her cousin warned. You need to do something before this gets worse. But the worst call came from Henry's mother. Mrs. Okonkwo arrived at Tina's door without warning, her face tight with disapproval. She didn't greet Tina with the usual warmth. Instead, she pushed past her into the living room and sat down heavily. Tina, what have you done to my son? Tina blinked, stunned. Excuse me. Henry is a good man. A provider. But you've pushed him away with your constant complaints and disrespect. Now look, he's found comfort elsewhere. Comfort. Tina's voice cracked. He's living with another woman. He stole our daughter's school fees. And you're blaming me. Mrs. Okonkwo waved her hand dismissively. Men make mistakes. But a wise woman knows how to keep her home. If you were more submissive, more understanding. Get out. What? Get out of my house. Tina's voice was ice. If you came here to defend him, you can leave. I will not be blamed for his choices. Mrs. Okonkwo stood, gathering her handbag. Pride comes before a fall, Tina. Remember that. After she left, Tina collapsed on the couch, shaking. Her father called minutes later, his voice heavy with disappointment. Not in Henry, but in the situation itself. My daughter, this is shameful, Elder Adeyemi said. He was a respected church elder, and news of Henry's affair had spread through their congregation like wildfire. People are asking me questions I cannot answer. They see my son-in-law with another woman while my daughter stays home with his children. Daddy, what do you want me to do? Handle this quietly, privately. Don't let this become public entertainment. But it was already too late for quiet. That evening, Tina drove across town to Crystal Gardens Apartments. She parked across the street, watching Block C from the shadows. At 7 p.m. she saw them, Henry and Natalie, walking to his car with shopping bags, laughing like they hadn't a care in the world. They drove to an upscale restaurant. Tina followed, parking where she could see them through the window. They ordered expensive wine, shared dessert. Henry reached across the table to hold Natalie's hand, looking at her the way he used to look at Tina a lifetime ago. Tina pulled out her phone and recorded everything. The restaurant name, the time, the tender touches. When Henry's phone buzzed on the table, Tina saw him glance at it, frown, and silence it without answering. She knew it was her calling. Again. She drove home in silence, her chest empty of tears. Her younger sister Patricia was waiting at the flat, having picked up the children from school. One look at Tina's face and Patricia knew. You saw them. Tina nodded numbly. That's it, Patricia said, her voice fierce. We need to teach him a lesson. Let me call my boyfriend. He knows people who can handle this kind of situation. No violence, Tina said quietly. Then what? You're just going to let him do this to you. Tina walked to her bedroom and opened her laptop. The evidence folder now contained over 200 files, messages, bank statements, photos, videos, testimony from friends, even records from the betting sites Henry frequented. I'm not going to let him do anything, Tina said, her voice eerily calm. I'm going to show everyone exactly who he is. Patricia moved closer, seeing the files spread across the screen. Tina, what are you planning? Tina didn't answer immediately. She opened a video recording app, positioned her laptop camera, and checked her appearance in the preview. She looked tired but determined. Good. Let them see what betrayal looks like. I'm planning to tell the truth, Tina said. He destroyed me quietly behind closed doors where no one could see. So I'm going to destroy him loudly where everyone will know. Are you sure about this? Tina's finger hovered over the record button. He took everything from me. My dignity, my peace, my children's security. The only thing I have left is the truth. She pressed record, and the screen glowed red, capturing every word. Tina woke up at 5 a.m. on the day that would change everything. She'd barely slept, running through her plan repeatedly in her mind, checking for weaknesses. There were none. She'd spent 2 weeks preparing, consulting with a lawyer her sister recommended, ensuring every move was legal and irreversible. First step: financial protection. By 6 a.m., Tina had transferred every naira from their joint savings account into a new account in her name alone. Nigerian naira 247,000, carefully saved over months from her small online business selling children's clothes. It wasn't much, but it was hers, and Henry couldn't touch it. The joint account now held only the minimum balance required to keep it open. She'd already moved 180,000 Nigerian nairas, the exact amount Henry had stolen, into a fixed deposit account for Zara's education. Legal, protected, untouchable. Second step: securing the home. At 7 a.m., a locksmith arrived and changed every lock on their apartment door. Tina paid him in cash, ignoring his curious glances. When he left, she tested the new keys, feeling a strange sense of power. Henry could no longer walk in and out as he pleased. Third step: the truth. At 8:30 a.m., Tina sat before her laptop, the video she'd recorded the night before queued and ready. She'd watched it 3 times, ensuring her message was clear, her evidence undeniable. In the video she spoke for 12 minutes, calm, articulate, devastating. She started with their wedding photo displayed on screen. 9 years ago, I married this man believing he would protect our family. Today I'm showing you who he really is. Then came the evidence displayed methodically. Screenshots of Henry's messages to Natalie. Can't wait to wake up next to you again, baby. Bank statements showing the withdrawn school fees. Evidence of his gambling on sports betting sites. Over 400,000 Nigerian nairas lost in 6 months. Photos of them together at restaurants and malls. This is what betrayal looks like. Tina said into the camera, her voice steady despite the tears threatening to fall. This is what happens when a man prioritizes his mistress over his children's education. When he spends money on perfume and expensive dinners, while his daughter faces expulsion from school. She showed the eviction warning from Zara's school. Henry's promises via text that he'd handle it soon. Natalie's Instagram posts flaunting their relationship. I'm not sharing this for pity, Tina concluded, looking directly into the camera. I'm sharing this so other women know they don't have to suffer in silence. Document everything. Protect your children. And never let anyone tell you that speaking the truth makes you the villain. The video ended with Tina's face filling the screen, tears finally falling, but her chin lifted high. She uploaded it simultaneously to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at 9 a.m. sharp. Then she sent the link directly to Henry's family WhatsApp group, all 15 members. To their church's WhatsApp group, 32 members. To Henry's workplace email, marked personal matter requiring attention. She sent individual messages to 5 of Henry's closest friends, the ones who'd probably helped him hide the affair. Thought you should see what you've been supporting. Then she sent it to Natalie's landlord. An anonymous message with the video attached and a simple note. Your tenant in Block C Apartment 4 has been housing an unauthorized occupant who is married with children. Thought you should be aware of the breach of your lease agreement. By 9:30 a.m., Tina's phone had exploded with notifications. Hundreds of them. The video was being shared exponentially. Friends of friends, acquaintances, strangers moved by her story. By 10 a.m. it had 3,000 shares. By 11 a.m. 20,000. The comments poured in. This is so sad. Stay strong, sister. Men like this deserve to be exposed. I'm sharing this everywhere. Everyone needs to see. That woman Natalie should be ashamed. The mother-in-law blaming her? This is why women suffer. Tina watched the numbers climb, feeling nothing. No satisfaction. No joy. Just a hollow certainty that there was no going back now. Her phone rang. Helen. Tina. What have you done? Everyone's calling me. Mama and Papa are. I did what I had to do, Tina said quietly. But this is so public. So what? He humiliated me publicly. Now he knows how it feels. At noon, Tina's lawyer called. Mrs. Okonkwo, I've prepared the separation papers as you requested. But I should warn you, given the viral nature of your video, Henry might try to claim defamation. Can he? Tina asked, her heart suddenly racing. Not if everything in the video is true and you have evidence. Which you do. Actually, you've done my job for me. No judge will deny you custody or support after seeing that. At 2 p.m., Henry's brother called. Tina, please. Take down the video. You're destroying our family's name. Your brother destroyed your family's name. I just made sure people knew about it. But Natalie, she's getting threats. People are finding her workplace, sending her messages. She should have thought about that before sleeping with a married man. Tina hung up. At 4 p.m., her father called. His voice was different now, not disappointed but resigned. My daughter, the whole state has seen this video. I know, Daddy. A long pause. Then, did you lie about anything in that video? No, sir. Everything is truth. I have proof of everything. Another pause. Then you've done what you had to do. Come home to my house with the children. You'll be safe here. Tina started crying then, the first real tears since she pressed upload. Thank you, Daddy. By 6 p.m. the video had 50,000 shares. News blogs were picking it up. Lagos woman exposes cheating husband in viral video. Screenshots were everywhere. Memes were being made. Henry's face was now known across social media. And somewhere across town in Natalie's apartment, Henry was staring at his phone, watching his entire life crumble with every notification, every share, every comment calling him exactly what he was. A betrayer. A liar. A failure. Tina packed her children's bags, turned off the lights in the apartment, and left without looking back. Henry's world collapsed faster than he could comprehend. When he'd first watched Tina's video, standing in Natalie's living room with his phone shaking in his hand, he'd felt like he was watching a horror movie starring himself. Every secret he'd buried, every lie he'd told, every moment he thought was hidden, all displayed for the world to see. She can't do this, he'd muttered, scrolling through the thousands of comments. This is illegal. This is defamation. But Natalie, sitting on the couch with her own phone, was scrolling through her own nightmare. Her Instagram had been flooded with messages. Homewrecker. Husband snatcher. Shameless girl. Her phone number, somehow obtained, was receiving threatening calls and texts. Henry, they know where I work, she screamed, showing him a message. Crystal Bank, Victoria Island branch, right? We're coming for you, Natalie. We'll handle this, Henry said, though he had no idea how. We'll get a lawyer. We'll sue her for. His phone rang. His boss. Mr. Okonkwo, I need you to come to the office immediately. Sir, I can explain. Now, Henry. The drive to his workplace was torture. People on the street seemed to stare at him, though he knew that was paranoia. But maybe it wasn't. The video had 50,000 shares. In a city of millions, how many people had seen his face? His boss, Mr. Adiwale, sat behind his desk with the video paused on his computer screen, frozen on Henry's face. Do you know what this is doing to our company's reputation? Mr. Adiwale asked, his voice cold. We have clients asking if we employ men who steal from their children's education. We have female employees uncomfortable knowing you're in the building. Sir, this is my personal life. It has nothing to do with. Everything has to do with reputation, Henry. You're suspended pending an internal review. 2 weeks no pay. And if this doesn't die down. He didn't need to finish the sentence. Henry left the building in a daze. His phone wouldn't stop ringing. Family members, friends, even people he hadn't spoken to in years, all calling to ask the same questions. Is it true? How could you? What were you thinking? When he returned to Natalie's apartment, he found her crying on the floor, her phone beside her displaying her company's email. Dear Miss Natalie, we're placing you on immediate leave following the circulation of certain videos. This is your fault. Natalie screamed when she saw him. You said you were separated. You said your wife knew. You lied to me. I didn't lie. Yes, you did. Everything you told me was a lie. And now my life is ruined because of you. She threw a pillow at him. People are sending messages to my parents. My mother called me crying, asking if I'm the woman in that video. Get out. Natalie, please. Get out. I never want to see you again. This is all your fault. Henry grabbed his bag. The same bag he'd packed 2 weeks ago when he'd stormed out of his marriage and left. He had nowhere to go. His family home? His mother had sent a message. Don't come here. I'm too ashamed to see you. His father hadn't responded at all, which was somehow worse. He checked into a cheap hotel in Ikeja, paying for 3 nights with his credit card. The receptionist glanced at him twice, and Henry wondered if she'd seen the video too. In the privacy of his small room, Henry finally broke down. He tried calling Tina. Blocked. He sent texts. Delivered but not read. He sent an email. Tina, please, we need to talk. You've made your point. Please. No response. His brother called that night. Henry, you need to come to Mama's house. She's not well. She collapsed after seeing that video. Guilt crashed over Henry like a wave. I'm coming. At his mother's house, he found her in bed. His father sitting beside her with a face carved from stone. His siblings stood around, their expressions ranging from pity to disgust. His mother looked at him with tears streaming down her face. Henry, my son, what have you done? Mama, I'm sorry. That girl showed receipts, Henry. Bank statements. Your children's school fees? For betting. She pressed her hand to her chest. How could you gamble with your children's future? Henry's father finally spoke, his voice like gravel. We went to Tina to beg. Do you know what she said? She said, I have nothing to discuss until the family meeting. She's demanded a family meeting, Henry. Both families. Church elders. Everyone. Henry felt his stomach drop. When? Next week. And you will attend. You will face what you've done. By the following week, the video had over 200,000 views. Henry had lost his job. Not suspended, terminated. Natalie had moved back to her hometown, her reputation destroyed. And Henry had been forced to move into a single room with a shared bathroom, the only accommodation he could afford with his depleted savings. He tried to access their joint account. Empty. Their savings? Gone. Tina had legally moved every naira she could claim as her own or the children's. His lawyer had informed him that given the evidence in the video, contesting anything would be pointless. Mr. Okonkwo, your wife documented everything perfectly. If you go to court, a judge will award her full custody, child support, and possibly additional compensation for emotional distress. My advice? Accept whatever terms her family proposes at this meeting. Henry sat in that dingy room the night before the family meeting, scrolling through comments on Tina's video. This is what accountability looks like. Every cheating man needs a wife like this. She didn't poison him, didn't harm him, just told the truth. Perfect revenge. Men fear women who document everything. Henry realized with crushing clarity. Tina hadn't needed violence. She destroyed him with something far more powerful, truth and evidence. And there was no coming back from this. His reputation was ashes. His career was finished in this industry. His family was ashamed. His relationship with his children was severed. And tomorrow he would face them all. The family meeting was held at Elder Adeyemi's house, Tina's father's residence in a quiet Lekki neighborhood. The sitting room was full. Both extended families, church elders, and several respected community members who'd been invited to witness and validate whatever decisions were made. Henry arrived last, escorted by his father and two uncles. He looked diminished, thinner, his clothes slightly wrinkled, the confidence that once defined him completely gone. He didn't meet anyone's eyes as he took the designated seat facing the gathering. Tina sat across from him, flanked by her father and sister. She wore a simple blue dress, her face calm but her eyes red-rimmed from crying. She looked at Henry without hatred, but without mercy either. Elder Adeyemi stood, and the room fell silent. We are gathered here today not to shame, but to seek resolution according to our culture and faith, he began. My daughter has been wronged. This is not in dispute. The evidence has been seen by hundreds of thousands. What remains is to determine the path forward. One of the church elders, Pastor Okafor, spoke next. Brother Henry, the Bible says a man who does not provide for his family is worse than an unbeliever. Do you accept that you have failed in your duties as husband and father? Henry's voice was barely audible. Yes, sir. Do you acknowledge that you stole from your children's education to fund gambling and another woman? Yes, sir. Tears streamed down Henry's face. And do you understand that Sister Tina's actions, exposing your behavior publicly, while painful, were not illegal, since everything she shared was truthful? Henry looked up at Tina then, finding her watching him steadily. I understand. Tina's father stepped forward. My daughter did not poison anyone. She did not hire anyone to beat you. She did not destroy property. She simply told the truth with evidence. And the truth destroyed you. He paused. If you had nothing to hide, there would have been nothing to expose. One of Henry's uncles shifted uncomfortably. But the public humiliation, surely there could have been a private way. There was. Tina spoke for the first time, her voice clear and strong. It was called our marriage. I tried privacy for 8 years. I tried patience, prayer, and peace. He chose to humiliate me by parading his mistress publicly. He chose to steal from his children. I simply made sure everyone knew the truth of who he is. The room was silent. Pastor Okafor nodded slowly. The elders have deliberated. These are the terms. Brother Henry, you will provide full financial support for your children. School fees, medical care, and upkeep. This amount will be determined by Sister Tina and reviewed quarterly. You will have limited supervised visitation with your children until they are old enough to decide for themselves. You will not contest Sister Tina's custody or ownership of any marital assets she has legally secured. Henry nodded, broken. Furthermore, Elder Adeyemi added, Henry's family will provide compensation to our family for the public shame and emotional distress caused. Not money, we don't want your money. But a public apology. Henry's mother, who blamed my daughter for her son's choices, will apologize publicly. The family will make a statement acknowledging that Tina acted within her rights to expose the truth. Mrs. Okonkwo, sitting with a shawl wrapped around her shoulders, stood slowly. She walked to Tina and before everyone knelt down. Tina, my daughter, I was wrong. I blamed you for my son's choices because I couldn't accept that I raised a man who could do such things. Forgive me. You protected your children when my son failed to do so. You are stronger than I gave you credit for." Tina helped her mother-in-law stand, tears finally breaking free. "I forgive you, Mama." Henry watched this exchange, the full weight of his losses crushing him. His mother, who'd always defended him, now knelt before his wife. His father couldn't look at him. His children weren't even in the room, they'd been kept away, protected from seeing their father's disgrace. "Do you accept these terms, Henry?" Elder Adeyemi asked. "I accept." Henry's voice cracked. Can I? Can I see my children?" Tina looked at her father, who nodded. Moments later, Patricia brought Zara and Daniel into the room. Daniel ran to Tina immediately, but Zara stood frozen in the doorway, staring at her father like he was a stranger. "Zara, baby," Henry reached out, but she stepped back. "You left us, Daddy," Zara said, her 7-year-old voice filled with confusion and hurt. "Mommy cried every night. Why did you leave?" Henry had no answer. He dropped his hand, sobbing openly now. Tina knelt beside her daughter. "Daddy made mistakes, sweetheart. Big ones. But he's going to help take care of you from now on." "Okay." Zara nodded slowly, then took her mother's hand. She didn't approach her father again. The meeting concluded with prayers and formal documentation. Henry signed papers agreeing to child support payments that would take most of his income. He signed away any claim to the apartment. He agreed to everything because he had no choice. The evidence against him was overwhelming, public, and permanent. As families began to disperse, Henry approached Tina one last time. "I'm sorry," he whispered, "for everything. I know it doesn't matter now, but I'm sorry." Tina looked at him for a long moment. "You're right. It doesn't matter now. But I hope you understand something, Henry. I didn't destroy you with poison or violence. I destroyed you with the truth. And that's the lesson every woman needs to learn. Document everything, protect yourself legally, and never let anyone shame you into silence." "I've lost everything," Henry said. "So did I," Tina replied. "The difference is I fought to get it back. You chose to throw it away." Henry left his father-in-law's house alone, taking a rickety taxi back to his single room. Behind him, Tina gathered her children, accepted hugs from her family, and felt something she hadn't felt in months: peace. Not happiness. The scars of betrayal ran too deep for that. But peace in knowing she'd fought back, that she'd protected her children, that she'd refused to be a silent victim. That night, as Zara and Daniel slept in their grandfather's house, Tina checked her phone one last time. The video now had over 500,000 views. Her inbox was full of messages from women. "Thank you for giving me courage. I documented everything now too. You saved my life by showing me I don't have to suffer alone." Tina closed her laptop and whispered a prayer. Not for revenge, but for healing. For herself. For her children. Even for Henry, broken and alone in his small room. Finally understanding that actions carry consequences that can never be undone. Outside, Lagos hummed with its usual chaos. Traffic, voices, life continuing despite individual tragedies. But in that quiet moment, Tina felt something shift. She'd entered this nightmare as a victim. She was emerging as a survivor. And in the end, that made all the difference. Truth, documentation, and legal action are more powerful than violence or revenge. Women can reclaim their power and protect their families without breaking the law. Public accountability, earned through evidence and transparency, creates lasting consequences for those who betray their families. Never suffer in silence. Your truth is your weapon, and your children's future is worth fighting for. If this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Together, let's help this story reach people who can learn from it.